So when we talk about meditation, basically there's so many meditations that somebody can do. There is like hundreds of different meditations and hundreds of different styles, starting from simple imagination and New Age stuff, and you can go to Tzog Chen and Zazen and Vipassana and basically all the meditations in the world, in order to be called meditation, they have to have the same common elements. And these elements are crucial, because unless we understand what we do, we can't really do it very well. It simply will not work. We have to understand what we are doing and what we are also up against. Because meditation is, in a way, a very epic thing. It's a war, if you want. It's funny to call it war because it's something that has to do with peace. But in a way, it's a war against our most terrible enemy, which is our ego and elusive thinking. And this is also the enemies that cause us suffering. This is the enemies that cause war in the world. Because whatever caused conflict in the world start from wrong perceptions of reality, from feeling of separation, from feeling of aggression. And if everybody would have done meditation, if that would be the state, there will be no wars in the world. If everybody would see the real cause of all the aggression, all the greed, all the delusions, all the illusions, which is what meditation does, there will be no wars, there will be no conflict, there will be no hunger, there will be nothing like that. So meditation is not about making peace inside, it's making, in the long term, it's also making peace in the world. The more people will do meditation, the more the frequency of this planet will change, and eventually it will be transformed into what it can be, potentially, which is heaven. A new earth, as Eckhart Tolle has called it. So I will talk a little bit about what is meditation, what are the elements, and also the dynamic of it, how it can really help. I give the vision that comes from the standpoint of Vipassana, actually, and not because Vipassana is better than other forms of meditation. Each one has its own thing, but because it's very clear teaching. It's a teaching which is very easy to understand, and it's universal for all type of meditations in the world, really. So the idea is that there are a few elements in every thought of meditation. The first element is concentration. And what is basically concentration is the ability to stabilize the mind. The yogis say that the mind is like sometimes they give the metaphor that it's like a monkey. And if you see a monkey in nature, you see they're very restless beings. So you'll say it's a monkey, drunk monkey, stung by a scorpion. So if you can imagine a drunk monkey that is stung by a scorpion, you will think about how is our mind, basically. It jumps all the time, it's so restless. It's associating all the time. So this is how it is. Boredom comes, and anger comes, and restlessness comes, and tiredness comes, and doubt comes, and everything. There is something very, very chaotic in the way the mind usually works. So what we basically want to do when we talk about... So basically, concentration is a fundamental thing. Because in order to have any insight, in order to have any control over this crazy monkey, we have to have something that can harness the mind. It's like a wild horse that we want to tame. So there's always something that has to do with concentration. Usually it will be something like focusing on a mantra, for example, something which is repetitive, like a certain type of word or a vision, like imagining something, or like the eyes of your teacher. It's a very common one in Tibetan Buddhism. Or like doing something which has to do with the breathing, because the breathing has something very rhythmical. It also connects to our physiology, and it has something that we can learn a lot. Anapanasati is like a meditation that is focused on the breathing, because the breathing as an object can teach us a lot. Because you can really see clearly that it's impermanent, it comes and goes. You can really see that it's part of you, but it's not really you. You can see there is something very, very deep in watching your breath, basically. And this is a way to focus your concentration, but it can be many things. It can be even external objects, like something that is called in Tantra yantras, using like external special symbols that you can focus your mind in a specific way, and it can really help to focus your mind. Or like focus on a dot, or like you do in what it called in yoga trataka. So there are so many techniques for concentration, and ultimately it doesn't really matter what you focus on, because the idea is you can change your mind once you persist on one object from something which is very chaotic and move all the time to something which is very focused and clear and direct. And then also your mind has very different functions. I mean, it has more power. It's like the difference in having a flashlight which has like scattered light, which has all the vibration in it, but it doesn't have much power to make it like a laser beam, which can cut through walls, it can cut metal, it can do stuff like this. And this is the same light, the same energy, but it is much more focused. So once your mind gets really focused, I mean, there is a level of focus in which your mind is like totally under your control. You totally harness it, and then you understand what power does it have. You can learn a whole, for an exam that will take you normally a week, you can learn in like an hour or two. Because when your mind is really one point, it's like he can cut through everything. He can see everything. You think about something and you get all the understanding of that thing immediately, almost instantaneously. Because our mind has amazing potential. And the reason we can't access this potential is basically because we don't know how to focus it. And it just runs wild and we basically don't have any control. In Tibetan Buddhism, they say it's like a big elephant that actually rules us. We don't know what to do with it, so it basically do a lot of damage always. It starts taking us all kind of places, greed, anger, delusions. It harms us. While it can be an amazing power, it can change the world. People change the world through their mind. So we have conceived brilliant ideas how to feed the hungry people, how to understand things better, how to meditate. This is all something that came from the mind when it was harnessed, when it was used and didn't control us. So we want to know how to control the mind, and the basic thing is concentration. Then another element of this thing called meditation, because just concentration is still not meditation, or it's just an element of meditation. It will not take you that far. Some people, they know how to concentrate naturally, like, I don't know, people who drive sport cars. They can stay very, very focused for about 2 hours, and if they, for a moment, they just start thinking about something, everything happens so fast, they can die. So these people have can hold a concentrated state of mind for 2 hours, or basketball players, or anybody who do something which demands a lot of focus can build this concentration without being spiritual or without doing something which is extraordinary. It doesn't have any wisdom or insight. So this is just one level that comes to support the process of meditation.